So welcome back to Review and Brew, and today we feel like reviewing Shaolin Soccer and...
Two Dragons by Empire Brewing Company. I thought it would work. Here, get these glasses off.
Oh! So as soon as the film starts, we get a flashback, and we know it's a flashback. It's like a black and white, and it's actually
Blue.
like black and blue.
Which is a great indication for what's to come.
Yep. We start off with Golden Leg.
Yes.
And his
A soccer hero. Mm-hmm. A world-renowned sports champion. As the match progresses, it's a very short scene, but he loses the final kick that could have won everything. And the crowd rushes down in anger and breaks his golden leg.
Breaks his leg.
The whole reason this scene happened is because his manager or business partner has thrown the game or convinced Golden Leg to do so, and he paid off the crowd to break his leg. And in the immediate next scene, they're having a discussion where Golden Leg wants to become a soccer manager for Hung's company, and Hung says, no, screw you, not gonna happen.
How can you say that to me?
Let's just be honest about it. You're not the man you once were. You were a great player, okay? But now, you're nothing but a clown. I've had enough, okay? I've kept you here for 20 years. So now it's time for you to take care of yourself.
That pushes Golden Leg over the edge, and next we see him kind of bumming around town, drinking a beer in public.
The homeless bum is watching a soccer game on television, and he comments, that kick is terrible. And Golden Egg's like, well, what do you know about soccer? And he's like, I know Kung Fu, and I know that's a bad kick. And they start discussing Kung Fu, and it leads to one of the best scenes of the whole film, where the homeless man, what's his name?
Here's my business card.
Iron Leg?
Iron Leg,
Iron
because
Leg.
we have Golden Leg and then we have Iron Leg.
So Iron Leg is discussing the benefits of having Kung Fu in your life to Golden Leg. And it's a fantastic scene. There's a whole bunch of quick cuts to a Chinese Kung Fu martial artist employing all these tactics, which
could be used in real life situations.
day-to-day life. Parking your car, cutting plants,
Banana peels.
Look. Look!
At the end of it, unfortunately, Golden Leg says, you know what, screw you, I'm not just a cripple, I don't need your lousy Kung Fu, I'm going to go my own way. And he throws a beer can at Iron Leg, who promptly kicks it into the stratosphere.
Just ping.
So what?
So Iron Leg, after this, decides to walk about town, selling his cans for money. And he comes across this, what is it, like a bakery?
So it's like a Chinese street merchant.
Street vendor, food vendor.
Yeah, the street food, sweet cakes.
Sweet cakes, sweet rolls, buns. So he comes across this street vendor, and it's a woman who is using martial arts skills in order to craft her product. She's using a whole bunch of fancy arm movements to knead the dough. A guy throws a jar at her from out of nowhere, basically. And it's got money in it, so he's like, give me my rolls, here's your money. I'm gonna throw it to you in a pot instead of just walking downstairs like a normal person. And it's flying at her, and she manages to catch it, and she's very smooth in catching it.
And our hero, Iron Leg, is completely smitten, and he breaks out into song.
Hey, you ain't got nobody. Nobody cares.
Nobody cares for me.
This guy. So yeah, he breaks out into a song, and it's just as awkward as ours was, and everyone on the street's just kind of like, what's going on? They're either laughing at him or hiding their faces in shame, and he walks up, and she's just like, what are you doing? To which he says,
I sing to express my great esteem for a kung fu master because you are truly inspiring. Wow, so beautiful.
Our hero realizes that he can't pay for the sweet buns that he's just eaten like 3 of.
oh yeah, he's been nabbing them and just chomping down.
So he keeps saying, well, I could pay you tomorrow. And she's like, no.
No.
And then he goes, ho!
Oh!
Ho!
And he's like, well, take my shoes and I'll pay you later. And she goes, no.
No.
And,
Ho!
ho! And just back and forth. We actually looked up the term ho in Chinese.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay.
It means okay. Like, okay, no problem.
Okay, here's the deal. I'll just have one more bun and you can keep the shoes, all right?
No.
Ho!
So that's become one of our most quotable memories from this film. Oh. So he can't pay for the food, so he just kind of runs away.
We then get introduced to one of my favorite characters, which is First Brother, or Ironhead? Ironhead. And he's amazing. We actually bring back a theme that we just talked about, that they're awful singers.
Very bad singers.
And they're trying to earn money by singing in First Brother's bar.
Known as Ironhead,
Mighty Iron Head.
mighty steel leg.
Oh yeah, I'm still living.
Be serious.
Yep, First Brother works for like a bar which has performers, and he stupidly has not booked a gig for that night, so he and his brother have to come up with a quick routine. And it is wonderfully bad. There's a fight about to start, and the patrons who didn't like the song basically say, step outside, we're going to take us outside, we're going to take you down because you owe us something for us having to listen to your garbage music.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they were paying customers, and
They wanted a
they
good
were
show.
expecting entertainment. Which, this whole fiasco brings us back to Golden Leg,
Yeah.
who's still bumming around, wants to be a coach. He walks down an alley and finds a can in the wall, and it's the same can that
Iron Leg
kicked.
He's like, holy shit, how is this even possible? No one
Yeah.
can do this.
And as soon as he pulls the can out of the wall, it's like Jenga.
All collapses.
And behind the wall
More Jenga.
is our hero,
Our hero,
Iron Leg,
Iron Leg,
about to fight.
for his life.
And at the end of the fight, so he's got everybody down except for one guy.
One guy.
Who tries to pull off some of his own mantis-style kung fu. And then he just goes up and says, do you have any change?
Yeah, I got some change. Wait, are you robbing me?
Guess so. What's that praying mantis style?
Yeah?
You're giving Shaolin a bad name.
Oh.
Preceding the fight, Golden Leg and...
Proceeding?
Proceeding? Right? Yeah, proceeding.
Proceed means before.
Oh. Well, it means after.
Anteceding.
Anteceding the fight. Once the fight is resolved, Golden Leg comes up and he's like really into it. He's like, oh man, I can't believe that you did all that. So him and Iron Leg
Yep.
decide to team up and start a soccer team.
Using the power of martial arts.
Iron Leg decides to go out and get all his brothers recruited for the soccer team,
Who are also kung fu masters.
all with their own unique fighting styles.
Yes.
The next scenes remind me so much of the Blues Brothers. It's time to get the band back together because he's going around, and of course all
back in town.
all his brothers
That's
are
the
not
movie, right?
not into it. You know,
No, they don't want. They don't want to have anything to do with it. He goes back to First Brother or Ironhead, and immediately this horror movie weep 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 music starts playing.
as he's running away.
He's
from
running
his brother.
away. He's terrified, and he's Iron Leg's like, First Brother, what's the matter? And he's like, you ruined my life. Now I have to clean toilets. You know, our performance was bad enough where I almost got fired, but now I just clean toilets. So can you just leave and not have me be part of any of your weird schemes? He meets all of his brothers one by one, and they all say no.
And then they said yes.
So Golden Leg says, all right, we're going to do this. We're going to be a soccer team, but you all need shoes. And our hero, Iron Leg, who has left his shoes at the bakery street vendor, goes back to get his shoes back. And after a cute scene with the beautiful, ravishing young lady behind the counter, she gives him his shoes back, and they've been stitched, hand-stitched back into working condition.
Like Hello Kitty patches.
Yeah, it's very cute. So he gets his shoes back, and now it's on to soccer practice. The boys are back in town. After they've learned the basics of soccer, Golden Leg decides, time to pit you against another group.
I guess it's not the actual first match. It's a trial run that Golden Leg sets up against this other team that obviously isn't quite playing by the rules.
No.
Oh, excuse me. I'm a mechanic. It's how I earn my living. I always keep this close, you know? So I won't lose it. I'm on call.
They're getting absolutely decimated by their opponents, and they throw up a white flag. They said, we're done. We don't want to do this. We're sorry. Just let us go home, please. And their opponent says, all right, you can go home. As he takes off his pants and his tighty whities, he holds out his little undies and says, you can go home.
Hands it to the first brother.
First brother, who's already been through some shit in this movie.
Yeah.
And he says, you put these on, then you can go home.
It's coming back.
And it's humiliating. And it's kind of a weird break because they're all just ready to leave and go home, and then it cuts right to a scene where they're all in Shaolin Kung Fu monk poses. And they've got their spirit back. And they are suddenly able to use their Kung Fu martial art mastery of their craft to win the game. So, our team is ready. Golden Leg and the Iron Leg crew, Shaolin Master Soccer Team, are ready to play. They try and register themselves for the Super Soccer Tournament, and they're unable to do so because of an administrative error. And Hung comes by, and he's like, Golden Leg, what are you doing here? I thought I told you to GTFO. And Golden Leg's like, I have a team now. You said I couldn't do it, but I've got a team.
And upon looking at this team,
one of them's smoking a cigarette. One of them's incredibly overweight. They're almost all in bathrobes.
And Hung is just like, I gotta see this. You're in. I'll even pay for your entry fee.
This is gonna be delightful. The team is now registered for the Ultimate Championship Tournament. And they face off against a professional team. And the team looks at our boys and they're just like, what is this? This has got to be a joke. There's no way this is going to happen. And they win. And they continue winning. And there's a montage of them just winning match after match after match. And Hung keeps getting these calls saying, hey, the Shaolin boys are actually doing pretty well. And he's getting more and more mad. But still confident that Team Evil can bring it back.
At this point, it turns from less of a comedy to more of an inspirational sports movie.
Yeah.
You know, and the beginning half of this movie is hilarious.
Right.
It's really what draws you into this movie, but then it actually starts getting emotional. And I'm not a big sports guy, but if I was, this would be one of the main movies that I'd watch.
Be a hole in one. One thing with this montage, as well as all the other more serious moments of the movie, is the music. And the movie itself can be very campy and silly, but it's all done very well. They don't go over the top. Nothing's too subtle or too crazy. It's very, very well balanced. And with all the emotional parts with Iron Leg and the street vendor, when you see Golden Leg lose his golden leg, the music is very dramatic.
Yeah. It leads you where you need to go. It's up and down. At one point you're laughing, the next you're close to crying.
Well, he was close. I was crying. We should also point out that during this tournament, you see some of the best CGI effects. You see a lot of CGI effects.
Some of the best CGI effects?
In the movie.
The CGI effects in this movie really work for the mood.
Yes.
It's hysterical.
They're not good, but they work.
I mean, they could have been good for the time. When did this come out? Like 2001?
Something like that.
You know, but even still, they're very cartoonish and...
They're over the top. And it... The CGI is fantastic, and there's really no way to describe how amazing it works for the movie unless you've seen it.
Unless you actually sit down and watch it.
It's delightful.
So how about that ending?
So the plot for Hung is, you know, if he can't beat these amazing Shaolin soccer monks, all he can do is remove them one by one from the match, and then they'll be forced to forfeit. And after an amazing bout of CGI action and kung fu, he manages to do so. They're down to only 7 players and they need 8. So Mui shows up, she's completely bald, and he makes fun of her and says, "Go back home because you're E.T." And it's really funny, and it works quite well to lighten the mood for the scene. And they finally let her on the team because they need that last player. She decides to play goalie. She does her crazy Shaolin Kung Fu martial arts master technique, and she saves the day. They end up winning the game because of her. And it's wonderful. She and Iron Leg get married, and it's a wonderful happy ending. Shaolin Soccer. It's a great movie. It's super funny, well worth watching. Everything about it, the acting, the subbing, the CGI, the pacing, the music, it all works beautifully together. So Empire Brewing Company has partnered with a Chinese tea manufacturer to create this delicious beverage, which is a black tea infused beer. And that collaboration gave them an in to the Chinese beer market, and they've been doing very well, from what I've heard. Super successful. It's a delicious beverage, and I wish them all the luck in the world.
It's a great beer. The black tea really comes through. It gives it a slight bitterness.
Yep.
It's unlike hop bitterness. It's smoother.
Yeah.
But it's very
definitely
delicious.
more rounded. It works at the back of the flavor. I mean, the first thing you taste is beer, and then as you just sip on it, you're like, oh yeah, it's definitely there. That's good. It's good.
Well, I enjoyed everything tonight. The movie was great. The beer was good.
Pretty darn good.
I'm looking forward to our next review and brew.
Me too.
Thanks for watching.
Me too.